Hello, everybody. It is Coach K. I hope everybody is doing well on today. We are working with episode number 3. For those of you who don't know who I am, this is Boss Talk with Coach K. I am a trainer by nature. Own a computer consulting firm, so I am doing this training series for people who have businesses. You doesn't have to be my company. It can be any company. It can be work from home. It can be brick and mortar. It does not matter. I'm going to be doing this series, and we're going to be using this book in the series, John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And we always start with the quote of the day. And the quote of the day is, "The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes." Again, the quote of the day is, "The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes." Watch party. Hi Debbie, how you doing? Hi Shakira, how are you? Oh my goodness. For those of you, good afternoon, sweetheart. For those of you all have been working with this series, I want to tell you this. I am growing phenomenally through this series, just teaching you guys, doing a lot of research or whatever. I want you all to also make sure that you invite your team members on. It doesn't matter. This is not a place where we're recruiting or any of that. This is really leadership training. And if you can imagine, if you grow yourself 25 to 50%, and then you have your team members and they're growing 25 to 35%, then you have just increased the value of your team, because now you are birthing leaders that can birth more leaders. So make sure that you invite people to this free training. And again, it is leadership training. It is for leaders. So I really thought that I was going to be training more about somebody that they were talking about in chapter 2. And chapter 2 starts on page 11. For those of you all who are moving along with me, I thought I was going to be talking about somebody that's in chapter 2. And I am going to briefly talk about this person, but the training in it was so good, I'm not going to be able to stick on that person long. And I want you guys to stick to the end, because we have we've got a prize that we're giving. We had a trivia question last night, and one person got it right. So we're going to disclose who that is and their gift at the end of this. So let's talk about the law of influence. In the book, starting on page 11, we were talking about influence. What attributes make a good leader? Because we all think that we're great leaders. And I can tell you that this book is really tearing apart some of my thoughts of myself. So know that I'm in this with you. I'm not here just telling you that you need to change this and you need to change that. When I tell you it hits me first, it is absolutely positively hitting you first. Why did you join who you joined? And you guys comment, put something in the comments so I can see, why did you join who you joined? Why did you join the team that you joined? Go ahead and answer, and we're going to keep moving, but I want you guys to answer that. They were talking in the book in the very beginning about Mother Teresa, because when you think about a leader, and most people think of her absolutely as a leader, but do people think of her as an entrepreneur? I didn't. I saw her as a spiritual leader, but I didn't see her as an entrepreneur. But people who have worked with her, although she looked frail to us, and her job was to really serve the poorest of the poor, she was a tremendous leader. And people don't talk about how she had amazing influence, and that's one of the reasons why she was a tremendous leader. She was an energetic entrepreneur. Somebody who worked with her said that she was able to perceive a need. She did something about it, and she built an organization around the need with nothing tangible. She had nothing to start with, and she built her business up to help other people. And it's her ministry, really, not her business. But she formed a constitution around what she was doing, and she sent out started all kind of branches all over the world. She was able to not only have influence, but she was able to duplicate, and there's that word again, duplicate herself, which is amazing. She would opened up places in 25 countries in 5 continents. Now, what's special about that is she did this with the Catholic Church when the Catholic Church was on decline. So everything around her was declining, but she was growing because she had the influence. And some of the evidence of that is that there was a national breakfast, and they have the presidents and all of them there. And she started talking about, one of her subjects was talking about people who put their families in nursing homes just to leave them there and not take care of them. So she's in a room full of baby boomers. They're upset now, but they stayed, they're a little uncomfortable. Then she started talking about abortion. You're sitting there with the Clintons. So, of course, they're sitting there, and even though they don't agree with what she's saying, they are still sitting there because of her respect, because that they respected what she's done for other people. So she basically, by the end of her address, had offended almost everybody in the room, but nobody left because of her influence. So we're going to talk today about what true leadership is. True leadership cannot be these things. True leadership can't be awarded. True leadership can't be appointed, and true leadership can't be assigned. So I want you guys to do this for me. If you are in a business and you are upset because you have people, and it looks like certain people have certain favoritism, whether it's in the corporate office with the corporate office, or whether it is, in your individual team or on your individual team, you need to let that go. Because even if they are awarded, appointed, assigned, positioned, whatever, that's not true leadership. It's exactly what it was, and it doesn't foster true leadership. So while you're getting upset with a person that seems to be getting all this attention, you need to be developing your leadership skills so that you will become attractive, so people will be attracted to your leadership and not attracted to people's popularity. It's a good thing to have, people want it, but would you really rather have that type of influence with corporate or with leadership, or would you rather have that type of influence with the people who really matter, people who are, and not that they don't matter, I'm just saying people who you are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, because everybody matters. A title only does one thing for you. It buys you time to increase your sphere of influence, or it buys you time to lose it. Let me say that again, because people are so caught up on what you call them. A title can do 2 things. It buys you time to increase your sphere of influence, or it buys you time to lose it. What do I mean by that? When you become a director in our organization, I can only talk about my company, and I say that all the time, it gives you like a 40% raise, and you're now the company, the corporate office looks at you as a growing leader, and now you're getting the acknowledgement that you need. You're building your influence because you're a director. But what people do is they get a title and a position, and a lot of people will sit there for years. Because when they got the position, they didn't think, I need to be thinking ahead, not to rising star, but to executive director. I need to, as a director right now, I need to know what it's going to take for me to not just become an executive director, but thrive as an executive director. And if I can get that now while I'm a director, when I get to the executive director spot, I have leverage, because now I am looking toward the next rank, which is regional. I'm not sitting at an executive director's rank trying to figure out, what do I do from here? How do I handle this? No, I know how to handle it, because I already know now what I need to do to be a regional, and I'm acting as a regional while I'm a director. Why? Because I built my leadership skills when I was a director, just a director, before I even knew it. My sphere of influence grew there because I didn't just stop there. Don't get a position and let the position spoil you. Don't get a position and get lazy. Once you get a position, what are you doing? You are looking to advance to the next position. Why? Because in most companies, what happens is when you position up, especially with direct sales, before you can move to another position, you have to have a twin. You have to have the same type of position in your organization before you move up, because the company wants to know that when we take you to a particular position, you know how to handle it. It's not just the title. So don't get caught up on that. And we're going to talk right now about five myths about leadership. Hi, Pam. Hi, Sylvester. Hi, Connie. Hi, everybody. Hi, Stephanie. I just want to tell you 5 myths about leadership. Number 1, leadership and management are the same thing. That's what some people believe. There is a difference. And let me tell you what the difference is. Leadership is influencing people to follow, period. When you are a leader, you have influence where people will follow you. Management is maintaining a system or a process. Okay, you get binary qualified. If you're a good manager, you can tell people or a person, this is how you get binary qualified. You get somebody on your right, you get somebody on your left. Somebody else comes in your business, you get somebody on your right, you get somebody on your left. But actually, you don't have that many people, because you don't have that many people that are following you, meaning that you understand the process and you can manage the process of building, but you haven't gained influence where people want to follow you yet. Another myth about leadership: test. And you can also test whether a person is a manager or a leader like this. You give a manager a task to do that will create positive change. For instance, there's something going on in the organization. You need something changed. Let's say, for instance, you got people that are coming in the organization and they're coming in with an auto ship of 40, and you need to change that, have them change their auto ship to 120. Well, a leader can affect positive change, meaning that when they go to their organization and say, we need to come up, we need to go from 40 to 120, you've got people that will do that for you. Well, if you are a manager and you ask your leaders to do that, or either people on your team to do that, they're not going to do it because they're used to you managing processes. They're not used to you affecting positive change. So I'm hoping that this is helping you guys. Make sure that you comment and have questions or whatever. We're going to go through those. The number 2 thing that's a myth about leadership: all entrepreneurs are leaders. Really? All entrepreneurs are not leaders. Entrepreneurs can see the opportunities and they can go after the opportunities, and they're great with that. They can see a need and they can fulfill the need. But they are often so focused that they are not people savvy. In other words, they are so busy building or trying to build or trying to meet the need or trying to get the coins to come in, that they don't realize that they have to slow down and build relationships, not just business. So that's why all entrepreneurs are not leaders. I hope this is helping y'all. It has helped me a great deal. The number 3 myth is intelligent people with power are great leaders. Intelligent people with power are great leaders. That's what people just normally assume. But, you can be a genius when it comes to information, but you can be ignorant when it comes to growing a business. Because knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. How do I know this? Because you have people that come to you and tell you how to run your business when they don't have a business to run. Or you have that uncle that tells you, or cousin or whatever, that tells you shouldn't do that thing because that thing's not going to work. But the next week, that same person is coming to you to borrow $10 for gas. They can't even manage their household, but they're trying to tell you how to manage a business. But they have every thing that they can tell you that's wrong about the business that you've decided to be in, but they have no evidence of their own success. So you are a wise fool in that sense, because you really shouldn't try to manage someone if you don't have any evidence of success yourself. And Let me help you out. You shouldn't be listening to people who don't have evidence of success. Why are you listening to people that depend on you to get them through their basic needs? Every other month is something. I need help with my light bill, help with my phone bill, help with my car payment. But you gonna tell me not to start a business? No, I'm gonna need you to manage your life first. You've got to know who you should be listening to as well. Then there's this pioneer myth that if you get there first, then you are a leader. No, there was a person, Edmund Hillary, he climbed Mount Everest. He was not the first one to the peak, but they try to give him credit for that. But he's not a leader because he was the first one to the summit. There was somebody else that actually got there before him. And after that, he did an expedition with somebody else on another on another mission. But being first is not enough. It's great, it's cute, but being first is not enough. You have to be intentional about who you follow and about executing their vision. That's what's important. Not whether you're there first, will people follow me? And then when people follow me, do they execute my vision? That's leadership. Not if I was there first. Somebody's always going to have to be first. But now that you are first, what do you have? Do you have people that will execute your vision, or are you the Lone Ranger? What do you mean by that, Karen? What I mean is that I am very leery at people who are in leadership positions and they are quick to show you what they have amassed and what they have. I've got cars, I've got houses, I've got red bottoms, I've got this, I've got that. Okay, that's cute. Now move. Who in your organization has that? Or are you the only one? Because you got there first, great. You got things, great. Did you duplicate that in your organization, or do you have your organization just feeding you? It doesn't matter if you're first. So that pioneer myth is out. What about the position myth? The position myth. The position myth is something that we deal with in network marketing, not just in my company, but in any company. You have, for instance, there was this company, it was called Saatchi and Saatchi. It was an advertising agency. And there was a CEO, Maurice Saatchi, who was forced out off the board of directors. And the board decided, we're going to get rid of him. We don't need him here. And when he walked out, executives walked out with him. Why? Because the board of directors thought that they had the influence. They did not factor on the fact that Maurice had a great deal of influence inside of the organization and outside of the organization with the clients. How do you run an agency if you've lost your biggest clients? So when they got rid of him, guess who else walked out the door with him? British Airways. The entire contract walked out. High-level executives walked out. Mars, the people who make candy bars, walked out. So how well do you think the company did without the influencer? And not only that, the stock went from 8 5/8 a share down to $4 a share. So the stock plummeted when they got rid of the real influencer. So thinking that position will make you a leader, it doesn't, because there are a great deal of people who are in positions, but they're not the real leader. So who's the real leader then? If it is not, managers, if it's not entrepreneurs, if it's not intelligent people, if it's not pioneers, or if it's not people who are positioned, who are the real leaders? Well, you know what? To tell you the truth, there was a show that used to be on. It was called To Tell the Truth. And basically you'd have 3 people and one person was the real person. You have 2 people that were fake, and they'd ask 3 questions. And when they asked the 3 questions, the celebrity audience had to figure out, okay, who's telling the truth and who's not. You have a lot of that going on in organizations because you have a head and you have a neck. In other words, you have someone that may be positioned as a leader in vision, but who are people really following? It is the person that has the influence. So how do you identify real leaders? What do you do to identify who is a real leader and who's not? Number one, you don't listen to their claims. Why? Because I told you guys, people can make themselves be anything they want on Instagram and Facebook. You don't. Number two, examine their credentials. A lot of people are like, well, let me see, what are you? What is your rank? When somebody walks up to me and they ask me what my rank is, I'm completely turned off. What about what is my name? What is my rank? What is that going to tell you about me? Okay. Number three, don't check their titles. Don't worry about what their titles are. And those are things that we have been conditioned in corporate America to do. We want to know who they are. We want to know their credentials. We want to know their titles. What you want to do is check their influence. Who really follows them? Not who says they're going to follow them, but who really follows them. In companies that we have, you will find that it is cyclical, and it happens in every company, not just work from home companies, but corporations too. You have a group of people that come together and they have the mindset, we are the influencers in this company, and if we leave, then the company is going to fold. So they come together. When the new thing comes in town, they leave with a group of people thinking that they are going to leave the company handicapped. What they didn't realize is they confused entertainment with influence. They had been at the company and they had entertained people, but in their entertainment of people, the people they were entertaining weren't really getting paid. In other words, they were fans. And I do this analogy a lot of times. When you're in a company, if you're not making money, it's because you have decided to sit on the sidelines and you have decided to be a fan and not a player. I see Stephanie Block is on. Her husband actually plays hockey. They just won this big award last year or this year playing hockey and everything. But her husband is in the game. He's on the ice. But you have people that come to the game that pay to see her husband play, but they're not getting paid to be at the game. That's what happens. We come into these businesses and we sit on the sidelines as fans, and then we expect to be paid when we're not in the game actually working. So when they leave, they come together and they decide to leave, and then 4 months later they turn around and the people that promised to go with them are no longer there. Why? Because if you couldn't make it work where you are, is it the company and the products, or is it the fact that you have not honed your skills? If you take junk from one place to another, you're just moving the junk around. And it is almost like the analogy of a seed. For a seed to be able to take place, it has to be planted, it has to be covered, it has to take root, it has to germinate. You can't take root if you're moving every time a new wind comes by, every time a new company comes by. So I'm very leery with people who are on Facebook or IG and say, what's the new company that's out? Okay, so you want to jump on the new because you don't have any roots where you are. When you stay planted, like my leader has been in the same company for 5 years straight. He's not just planted, he's rooted, he's grounded, and he's growing a tree. In other words, he is reproducing himself, and his tree has fruit because he decided to stay. So for those of you all, and I don't know who this is for, but for those of you all who have been told you need to come to this new company because they've got this and you need to come here, if you don't increase your leadership skills, it doesn't matter where you go or where you're positioned, you're not going to do well. And I always ask people, because I have people in my inbox all the time, Coach K, we've got this great new thing. I want you to come and be a part of my team. And when I ask them questions, it shuts them down. Number one, what is your deal? Number two, is that deal for everybody or just for you? Number three, show me your evidence. And they can't do either. So then I take them, I listen to what they're saying, and I'm like, okay, you haven't been faithful where you are. Why would I follow you? Because it's something about loyalty that means something. That's an attribute of a leader as well. Okay, so another thing is how then, if you are working and you're used to, working more so on the manager side, how do you find the influence? How do you gain influence? Okay, this is how you gain influence. You find the influencer, the real leader. What he said, John C. Maxwell, is that he had gone to school and had the proper credentials and the resume and all that. And he got this very prestigious job, and he goes into the board of directors, and he notices within the first 5 minutes that he has the title, but he does not have the respect because he doesn't have the influence. There was a young man on the board of director that everybody followed, and he was a farmer. He didn't have the formal education. He didn't have, the background or the resume, but he had the influence. So John C. Maxwell had to figure out, okay, so how do I gain the influence, because I have the title and I need these people to respect me. He realized that what he had to do was, first of all, identify who the real influencer is. He had done that. And then he had to influence the influencer. So I want you to be real careful with this part. Real careful, because influencing the influencer is not, I'm trying to say this in the best way I can. It is not kissing up to them, basically telling them everything about them is wonderful and they have no wrong and you just love them to Reese's Pieces. No, that's not how you influence an influencer. You don't also try to take their authority. There are some people who come into an organization, and because they know that the leader may be weak in a particular area, they usurp their knowledge to make people believe that they are a leader above the leader. Wrong move. Wrong move. The way you do it is you follow their plan with evidence, because I don't care what you do or how much you suck up. A real leader is a numbers person. So what you do is you find out what is this leader's vision, you activate their vision, you execute their vision, and then you duplicate that method to everybody that's on your team so that your numbers will rise. And then the influencer will tell everybody that they need to now see you as an influencer, and people will then follow you. Did y'all get that? So in other words, humble yourself with your leader and implement your leader's vision. Make the numbers change. Make your numbers, because any leader, I don't care what you say with your mouth, a real leader is in their back office looking at their numbers. And if you have affected positive change in their numbers, then they know you can be trusted. They know you can carry a vision. They know that you can follow instruction, and they know you can do it without trying to be them. Oh my God, this is good, y'all. This is so good. This is so good. So, Margaret Thatcher had said, as far as leadership is concerned, she said, if you are a lady and you carry yourself like a lady and you have to tell people that you're a lady, you're really not one. She said leadership is a lot like being a lady. Either you are one or you're not. But a real lady, when you walk into the room, you don't have to convince people that you are that. You already know that you're that. So if you got to come in and usurp your authority and tell everybody, well, I'm a national director and I'm a this and I'm a that and this is my title and all that. I've been here this many years and I deserve respect. No. Because if you're a real influence, people are going to follow you. You don't have to announce yourself and announce your attributes like you are giving a resume. Because let me explain something to you about a resume. I've worked in HR for 25 years. Your resume is not there to get you the job. Your resume is really to disqualify you. Your interview is not to qualify you. It is to disqualify you. They're picking apart your attributes. They're picking apart whether you're going to be a part of the culture. Are you going to fit in with the people? They already know that according to your resume, you know the jargon and you can be there. But do I really want to work with you? So a lot of times when you're like that and you're telling people, so quick to tell people how valuable you are, you have basically, people are just turned off, because your value will be shown by your fruit. Do you have any fruit? Is your fruit fresh? Is your fruit rotten? Is there a mess that follows you everywhere you go? Are you on Facebook one minute and you're happy and you're loving, and the next minute you're talking about people and you're pulling people down, and you're talking about your organization and you're talking about your leader, and you're causing disruption in your organization? I mean, what type of fruit are you producing? Because people with good fruit will draw people to the tree. If your fruit is rotten, people don't want to eat that. They don't want to digest it. So be careful and leery about just getting up following somebody else somewhere else, because you really need to know the full story of why they're going. Because people will make you think that, it's a revelation and they just had to do something different and they got a better opportunity. A lot of times people were kicked out, point blank to the period. That's just the truth. They were either kicked out or they didn't build their organization right and they're not making money anymore. Or there is more to the story than they're going to tell you, because they've got to paint the picture so that you will follow. But if you got to go through all that to get people to follow you, are you going to be able to sustain that? 9 times out of 10, no. So, gosh, I can't even go through the last part because my time is up. But tomorrow we're going to be talking about why can't people lead. I don't even want to jump into that today, because I want to delve into it a little more before I jump into it. And again, my time is coming to a close, but I wanted to tell you guys we had a trivia contest yesterday, and we were asking how many franchisees that did Ray Kroc open in the same amount of time that when he signed his papers to deal with McDonald's. He first opened 100, and then he opened 500 in a very short period of time. So if your answer was 100 or 500, you won. I had one person do that, and that was Connie Nevelis. So she won a sample, and she also won a BPA free water bottle. So congratulations, Connie, for that. Also, we always talk about a product, but before I do that, I want to look at some of these comments. And again, thank you guys for coming on, but tomorrow's going to be good. I really wanted to get into why people can't lead. So you need to get your teams and stuff on so they can hear about leadership. Joan, how you doing? Debbie Smith, hey babe. Hi, Kamoria. Ramona, how you doing? Hi, Sylvester. I love you. TLC, the Lord's Company. I will never forget that. Pam Brown. Gotta watch the replay, Pam. Really. Thank you, Sylvester. I'm so glad it was Nuggets. Please invite people. This is for any company, anybody that wants to improve their leadership. Again, Connie, congratulations. Who influenced you? One person who has influenced you? Philip Birchfield. All day, every day. Because he could have made his money and kept strategies and things of that nature to himself, but he is so open, so sharing, and so caring, and you do not find that in this industry. He is absolutely a person that has influenced me in this industry. James, how you doing, sweetheart? Guys, if you want luxury travel, contact James Adams. He is the best of the best. And if you want to work with a travel agency or as a travel agent, contact him. Loyalty is everything, Sylvester. Loyalty to me is everything. Shakira said that she had somebody that wanted to join her after jumping ship from her company, only being in there for 4 months. When I tell you, they try to tell you that the comp plan is better, this, that, and the third, and they get there, and 4 months later, they are broker than a joke. So, yeah, no. Again, if you can't make it work where you are, why would you think you can make it work somewhere else? Sometimes it's not the company and the product. It's just you need to increase your skill level. So I don't know why people are jumping around, but teach his own. Let's see, who else? Sylvester, I appreciate you inviting people. Sylvester, that's right. Yes, you want to be on tomorrow at 12:05. We're going to be talking about, we're going to finish up chapter 2. Some chapters we can get through in a day and some we can't. This one I don't want to rush through, because why people can't lead is going to bless you and bless your team. And it may answer some questions about it. Yes, Shakira, she also agrees that Philip Birchfield is absolutely someone who inspires. And Philip Squires, too, guys. I have 2 Philips that are leaders for me. Philip Squires and just got married to his wife, and he is on his way to the Bahamas right now. But if there could be an integrity coach, he says his moniker is Phil Squires, the one who inspires. He is so integral. I would definitely name him an integrity coach, because he's going to do it the right way every time. So I just want to end the segment with this tea. This is our hemp tea, guys. And some of the things that this tea does, it is amazing. I absolutely love it because it helps with inflammation. It can help with inflammation. Before I even get started, we don't diagnose, cure, mitigate any kind of disease. These are testimonies. This is an instant tea. You cut the top off of the package and you pour it in water and shake and you drink. And people have testified that it helps with inflammation. Also, it can assist with anxiety. It has assisted people with anxiety, and it's also good for weight management, weight control. So if you have not tried this, you want to try it. I have some, or find somebody on Team Shaw to get some from. But what it does for me, guys, is I am always like on 10 because I'm doing so many different things. But in the evening, when I need to just relax, I love it because I can drink it cold or I can warm it. It has a lemon flavor, and I just drink it, and it's just like all of the stress melts away in my life. Absolutely love it. And you're only supposed to do 1 or 2 a day. I think I may do 2 or 3. Just because I love it that much. And I especially do it when I drive, because it calms me down when I'm on the highway and I do a lot of traveling. So if you have not tried this tea yet, you need to get some. And we do have some. Just find your TLC representative, or you can inbox me to get that. So I love you guys. I love you. And I pray that this is helping you. We will have